our hand, and we are headed to the jail right now to go and pick Mr. Reeves up and take him home. If you all have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer.
Melanie Michael, and you're reporting live right now on News Channel 8 as we're broadcasting. Can you tell us your reaction to this case, and how do you feel about your client getting out of jail tonight?
I will tell you that this morning I was 2.5 hours out of Tampa for a weekend trip when I first got the news, and I was actually on a boat, and so I drove my boat back and hopped in a car and probably broke every speed limit between Yusepa Island and Tampa. I'm not a very emotional guy, but I can tell you that when I got this decision, it was a very emotional moment for me. I know how much this meant to us. More importantly, I know how much this meant to Mr. Reeves and his family. The one thing that I can tell you that I am so proud of is that Cutis Reeves has never lost faith in our system of justice. Each and every time that I spoke to him, he would always tell me, he'd say, "Hey, Rick, good job. I believe in our system of justice." You've got to understand that Cutis Reeves, for 27 years, was a decorated law enforcement officer here in this community, protecting each and every one of you. Cutis not only was a decorated and wonderful law enforcement officer that protected our community, Cutis is a wonderful family man. He is a church-going man. He's coming home in order to resume his life and to assist us in preparing his defense. And we, in our firm, we are so eager in order to be able to do that come early 2015.
Have you spoken with him?
We, Mr. Michaels, spoke to Mr. Reeves earlier today, just briefly. We told him that we were soon going to be there once we got the certified copies in our hand. The bond is ready to be posted. All the conditions are going to be met. And we expect, with the cooperation of the Pasco Sheriff's Office, we expect that Mr. Reeves will be home tonight with his family.
Paul, you live from Bay News tonight. I've got a two-part question. What was his reaction today when he learned that he would be getting out tonight?
In all honesty, we've all been very confident that this day was going to come. I think all of you all were there for 2 days during the hearings. You heard the evidence. If you've had the opportunity to read the opinion from the 2nd District Court of Appeal, it was a very strong opinion for the defense. If you've read Judge Syracuse's recent order, it's a very, very strong opinion for the defense. And let me say one thing. We are grateful for the fact that Judge Syracuse gave us 2 days to present our case before him. As defense attorneys, what we want in our system of justice is we want the opportunity to present our evidence, to have our witnesses testify so that we can make a record. So if a mistake is made, we can have an appellate court review that and have some justice take place. And that's exactly what happened here. And so we applaud Judge Syracuse. The minute that he got the 2nd District Court opinion, he quickly rendered his order so that Mr. Reeves hopefully could be home tonight.
And you and your legal team have obviously met with Mr. Reeves several times. How is this 7-month time period taking its toll, as you've seen and heard from him?
You can just imagine it's difficult enough for a young man to spend 6 months in the Pasco County Jail. It's far harsher for a 71-year-old man who is innocent of this crime to spend 6 months in jail. That is what's been so surprising to me, that despite that, the difficulties of being in the Pasco County Jail, his confidence in our system of justice has never wavered. It's been so strong. And yes, there has been times when, he's been up and down, but at the end of the day, at the end of our meeting, he's always looked at me and said, "Hey, Rick, I know we're going to get this done."
Is that what you want people to know about your client?
I want people to have faith and confidence in the 71 years that my client lived as an upstanding young individual here in this community, as a very well-respected law enforcement officer. I want the public to give us an opportunity. Don't rush to judgment. Wait for my day in court, for his day in court. Listen to the witnesses as they testify. Listen to our experts. I can tell you that I am excited for 2015 to be able to defend this case. I am truly excited. I've encouraged you, each and every one of you, to get your own experts, to get your own enhancement of the video, to get your own ballistic expert, to get your own pathologist, to examine the facts. There's not many attorneys in town that would do that if they had any doubt whatsoever about the facts and circumstances of this case. I encourage you to do that. And I ask the public, please, let's wait. Let's wait for the evidence to be introduced in the court of law. I don't try my cases here in the media. I like to try my cases, and I think I told you that early on. I like to try my cases in court. That's where we can depend upon reliable evidence. That's when we can depend upon sworn testimony. It is far too dangerous to be putting out in the media speculative information that can only hurt our criminal justice system. Please give us our time to try this case, and I think you'll be part of our team realizing that justice is going to be done when Mr. Reeves is acquitted of these charges.
What are the conditions?
He's got various conditions, one being a $150,000 bond. The other one is he's going to have a private electronic monitor. And so I've given you all copies of the actual orders. Please read the orders. The reason I gave you a copy is I don't want you to rely on me. Rely on Judge Siracusa for his conditions.
You can realize and appreciate this is an emotional case from both the side of the Olson family and from the side of the Reeves family. It's difficult all the way around, yes?
We don't lose sight of the fact that a life has been lost here, and obviously we feel very sorry for the Olson family for their loss. However, I think that we need to focus on the factual circumstances of this case. Mr. Reeves, during the first conversation and confrontation with Mr. Olson, did the right thing. What any of us would want someone to do is he got up and he went to the manager of the theater and he did what? He reported the situation. Not much has been reported about that. You all have seen the video. You all have seen the LCD flash hitting Mr. Reeves. There's not been a whole lot reported on that. What I'm asking the media to do is to, again, do your own investigation, but really do an investigation. Go out there and read those transcripts. Go out there and interview the witnesses. Go out there and get the experts. We're confident that once you do that, you will understand that Mr. Reeves did nothing but use the law of self-defense in order to preserve his own life. Just like every individual and every senior citizen in this country has a right to do. Remember, the laws of Florida protect those that are 65 years of age and older for a reason, because those individuals are vulnerable. And if they get hit in the face or in the head with a cell phone, that particular strike could be deadly. Mr. Reeves understands that. I am sure that you understand that, and thank God our legislature understands that.
So his age should be taken into consideration?
Without question, his age should be taken into consideration. The dark theater should be taken into consideration. Mr. Olson's violent conduct should be taken into consideration. You need to take into consideration everything, because the law, as it's defined, says you have to stand in the shoes of Mr. Reeves in order to determine whether, in fact, that fear was reasonable and whether his actions were justifiable. And so with that, I can't take many more questions, but we've got to go and retrieve Mr. Reeves and take him home. I appreciate your interest. I appreciate you coming. One more question.
One quick question. We want to know, based on what you've said, you're saying based on the age, are you saying based on that information you won't need to incite the Ganger ground law?
There's not a competent attorney that's going to sit with you here at this point in time when we haven't taken the first deposition and starts discussing strategy with you. Our goal is to get all of the facts out first, and we're going to do that by testing the evidence. We're going to be able to now confront every witness under oath in a deposition.
You're not ruling it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
You must have some kind of reaction to what Mr. Ms. Olson's attorney said today, that he's going to be, once you go get him out of jail, that he's going to be a danger out there. That basically this bond is going to be essentially and I'm not quoting, a miscarriage of justice. How do you respond to that?
In our great country, we don't punish people until a jury of their peers has decided whether or not they've committed a crime.
But she says she's concerned about him being out.
Well, she may be concerned, but again, they're holding press conferences in order to get that type of information out. Only, in my opinion, for one reason, in order to try to poison the public out there. We're not going to do that, okay? We're going to try our case in court. Mr. Grimaldi made some statements early on, and I want you all to read them, because obviously he did not read the judge's orders, and he didn't read the Second District Court of Appeal decision when he made those statements. We don't do that. Thank you very much.